Okay, we've just designed a beautiful input screen for the VG invoices file. This is a very simple invoice which only has 3 lines, so you can bill 3-line items, and then it has subtotal and tax and shipping and so forth. This is not a complex invoice by any means. This is just a very standard kind of single page invoice, and I'm just using this to show you some concepts that you don't know yet. And later on I'll go on to some much more advanced and maybe even more usable invoices and more sophisticated techniques for handling invoices. But now let's figure out how we use this file. Remember when we did the resolve the fields, you could see what it looks like. It's pretty much going to look like this, and let's go see how we take advantage of this file. To use this file, we want to go into Inquire Update and Add and put in an invoice. Let's go to screen 1, and I'll hit 3 for Add Records. Now what I want to happen, obviously, is that when I type in the customer code, like Acme, 1000, I want it to pop in the name and address for Acme, at least the bill to name and address. And it's of course not doing that because we haven't written any code for it. Let's go into processing and design this type of processing. We'll go into input, and think about it. This is not going to be something that happens in input processing when they press escape. This is going to happen when they leave the field. We want it to happen immediately when they leave that field. Pop in the name and address. I'm going to start to go a little bit faster here. Okay, if I put in an @when leaving field, and let's go look at what field it is in this file. The contact name, the company name, the customer code is up at 3. Okay, so when leaving field 3, and I'm going to put my little thing that I always put, extra little comment. When leaving field 3, first thing I want to do is make sure that they don't leave field 3 empty. I can't have an invoice without a customer code. So if 3, or we could talk with the map name of cus code if you want, but I would do this as field 3, but let's just do it a little easier. If cus code equals null, then screen, you can't use the cus code here, you got to use 3, okay, and then that's going to be end our when leaving field. In other words, if they leave that field null, this is why I use a 3. I say if 3 equals null, if it's blank, if they leave it blank, put them back in screen 3. That's why I don't use the map name here. I want it to kind of match up so I understand what's happening right away. Okay, that will end the when leaving field. If they do leave that field null, screen ends the when leaving field. If they don't leave it null, then I want to look up into the VG customer file, customers, and this time, remember before we did a record lookup. We used a record number and looked right to the control file, record number 1. Well, I don't know what record number the customer is going to be on. And Acme 1000 could be on record 300 or 320 or 1 or 10. I don't know. I only know the customer code. I know a key thing about that record. I know that the key field that I need to attach these 2 files with is customer code. It's a unique number, and I have it in both files, and it's the key field. So I'm going to use a key lookup, key equals, and I want to say my customer code. So I'll say key equals 3. Or in this case, if we do it the way we did the lookup for the record number, we put a parentheses, and then the thing we wanted to look up by. In the other case, it was a literal. Here it's going to be an expression. I want to look up using cus code. The cus code that they are exactly, that's one way of doing it. I want to use the index in that other file as index A, and I want it to be an exact lookup. I want to match that exactly. I don't want to find Acme 1002 if my customer code has just been typed in as Acme 1001. Now, let me make sure you understand this. We're doing a lookup into the customer file to get the name and address. And the key field we're using is the customer code field. Remember, you have to surround expressions on lookups like this in parentheses, the customer code. So we're using the customer code, which is really field 3. We could actually do this, just to confuse you a little bit. This is exactly the same thing. It says use field 3. But so that when we're looking at this part of the code, we can understand it a little more easily, a little quicker, we'll state it with the map name. They're interchangeable, but they're interchangeable with expressions being surrounded by parentheses and real fields not needing it in this lookup. It's just a very small quirk about lookup because it's been around so long. The rest of FilePro is very consistent about this. You pretty much always need parentheses around an expression. And expressions are just about anything. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But what this lookup is saying is go into the customer file, use the key field of customer code, whatever they've just typed into that field, and use index A in that customer's file, because we know that's built on customer code, and then find me an exact match. Okay? Now I typed this in by hand. Okay? Let me use the wizard to type it in, which is F5. The lookup wizard. Okay? It's about the same thing. I'm going to say I want to look up from file VG customer. Okay? And enter. It says, do I want a name of the lookup? Let's leave that for a minute. Say, what record is to be found? How do you want to find the record? Well, I want to find it with a key field. And what index is to be used? Well, I know it's the customer code index in the other file is index A. If I'm not sure, I can press F6 and get a list. But there it is, showing me the customer A. Index A is the cus code lookup. The cus code index, rather. Cus code index. Now, if what field in my file holds the cus code? Well, it's field 3. That's holding the customer code. And now it says, do we want to protect this record in that other file? Well, not really. We have no reason to protect it. We're just getting a name and address out of it. We're not changing anything in that file, so it doesn't matter. We don't have to lock that record for any reason. We're just looking up to get it. So we definitely do not want to lock that record. Just get some data out of it. And now it says, if the key doesn't match, what do we want to do? If key doesn't match, really, do we want it to match exactly? Yes. We could say, no, don't match exactly. Find the next greater thing besides the customer code that we've typed in, or we can use the next lower match. We want it to match exactly. If I type in Acme 1000, I want it to find me the Acme 1000 record, period. So I hit enter. Okay, now this is what do you do if you don't find a match? Well, E says just blank this field and let them try again. And who knows where it'll put them. I never use this function. I'll talk about it a little bit more maybe, but I just never use E. I pretty much always use N. Okay? E says report an error. If it's only going to put up on the screen, hey, I didn't find it. If it doesn't find a match, it says couldn't find it. And it's a big problem. It kind of leaves them right there with nothing to do. The only real choice to pick on lookups generally is N, which means, don't do anything. I'll handle it. If it can't find it, I'll do something about it. Okay, now it says, is this a browse lookup? And we're going to say no. All right, so what it did is just build this lookup for me. It built it almost exactly the same way I built it. In fact, just slight difference in spacing. Again, spacing is not important in FilePro on processing tables like this. All it's added is this N. Okay, we still want an exact match, but we're going to not do anything if it fails. That's what N means. And that's because on the very next line, I'm going to say, if not PG customers, I'll do something on my own. And what I want to do right now is I'm going to go to, which is on very few times you can use a go to, I'll say go to a browse that will show them all the customers, be easier for them to find. I'll go to browse look. Browse LK. How's that? Or BRWLOOK. Go somewhere else, in other words. And that's going to be a subroutine that I'm going to write. It's not a subroutine, it's a go-to. I'm going to just go somewhere and do that. And that's going to be right here. BRWLOOK. All right. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Let's see. Sorry. BRWLOOK. Yeah, and that's good. And I'll even put this BRWLOOK. That's where we're going to go to if we fail the lookup. If the lookup doesn't find a record Acme 1000, for instance, it's going to go here. right now I'm just going to push that down out of the way. Don't need it. We're going to work it out later. What do we do if we do find the lookup? If we do find the lookup, then we're going to populate the screen. And if you remember, this is the way the screen looks. Okay, we're going to put in fields 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all the customer bill to address. So let's put into 8, we'll fill in VG customers, whatever the contact name is in that other file. Let's go look. In VG customers, the contact name is first name and last name are fields 1 and 2. So into field 8, I'm going to put VG customers 1, and I'm going to push next to the last name, VG customers 2. So that'll give me the first name and last name in that field. And then if I can look at my screen again, the next field I need is going to be company, which is number 9. So I'll say 9 equals VG customers. Let's go look and see. Now we can look at the screen to see what it is. I have a screen up. It's field 9 is what I want to put it in, but I have to look at my customers file here to look and see what I'm pressing F6 to go look at another file, VG customers, and the company field is field 3 in that other file. So I'm going to put field 3, which is the company field, into my field 9 in this invoice file. Okay, now we're going to put an end statement here. Okay, and we're just going to see if that works. And I'm forgetting something right here purposely. Not putting something you need there, but I also am going to do something else here. If the lookup fails, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to comment out this lookup, this goto, okay? Just leaving this as a comment, because I'm going to go test just what we have so far. I want to test it and see if it works, but I'm purposely not going to type in a lookup that fails. And I'm also not going to write this little browse lookup right yet. I'll press escape to save this. Let's see where we have an error. 8 equals, I have VG customers 1. I forgot the underline. Okay. And did I forget it on the other guy too? Nope. Looks like we're okay. So now I get good syntax pass, and now I'll go into the file, inquire, update, and add. Matter of fact, let's turn on the well, we got it on already. E is on, so go to screen 1. Now let's add a screen. I'll add an invoice rather. So I press 3 for add records, and I'm going to type in ACME1000. Now I know that didn't fail because I know there's an Acme 1000 in the other file, yet it didn't put anything on the screen. I mean, and it's in date. It did not put anything on the screen, and I want to go see why. Okay, here's why. I told you I forgot something important. When you put variables on the screen, when you change a field number on the screen, change its value, you must use a display statement. Display that the fact that you're changing this value from whatever it was to what it now is. You have to refresh the screen, in other words. Let's go see if that makes a difference. Go to inquire, update, and add. I'm going to go to screen 1. I'm going to press 3, ACME100, and I'm about to leave the field. Now I left the field, and it went to the date field, but look what it did. This time it filled up field 8 with the contact, and field 9 with the company name. Working just right. Now I'm going to press delete, delete, get out of this record again. I'm going to go back into processing, and I'm going to finish it up. Well, now that I know it's working, I'm going to do all the rest of these. I'm going to fill up the rest of the fields on this screen that we're filling up. We filled up 8 and 9. We have to fill up 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now, I could sit here and just do this very laboriously. The next one I have to fill up is 10 equals, and I could type VG customers, whatever field 10. Let's see, whatever the first address field in VG customers is. But let's talk about shortening this. I want to refer to this VG customer file with a shorter name. I'm going to give it an alias, just like a, John Wilkes Booth has an alias of JWB. I want to shorten this, and so I'm going to push this over with F1, and I'm just going to call it, how about VGC for VG customer, and then I'm going to say that equals this. So it's the same long file name. I'm saying that this VG customers is now the same as this. I can refer to it as VGC instead of typing out VG underscore customers. Only difference is whenever I refer to this lookup now, I can't refer to it as the full name. This is commented out, but I have to do this to it. It will not work as VG customers anymore. Okay, so now I can't refer to these as this long thing. I have to refer to them as my little shorter alias. Okay, we're going to fit a lot more on the line like this too. Okay, lookups almost always you can get to use an alias. And by doing an alias, you save space, and more importantly, you save time. But here we go. I can jump to the end of the line, and I can say now 10. Instead of doing it on the line below, I'll say 10 equals VGC. And the first address field in that other file, I don't remember it, so I'm going to press F6. F6 again to type in another file, and I'm going to type in VG customers. And now let's see, the first address field in that other file is 4. And it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like in order. So I want to put field 4 from the VGC file into my field 10 in this file. So it goes in that position on the screen there. Okay, and I can fit another one here on this line pretty easily. I could say fill up field 11 with VGC 5, and let's keep going. Fill up field 12 with VGC 6. And I could say VGC, I'm going past the end of the line now, VGC, well, I didn't do it right, I'm going to put field 13 equals VGC 7, and the last one would be field 14 equals VGC 8. Let's see if that's right. I have to fill up all the way to field 12, 13, 14. That's correct. So I filled them all up. I did go past the end of the line, but if I press F7, I could still see the end of the line. But I'm going to come down here to write my display anyway. Display on that line, and I can put the end here. Or if I really wanted to, I could go to this line, and at the end over here, put a semicolon and a display, semicolon, end. And they'd all be on one line. I don't do that because I like to see my end statements or my display statements right in the processing, right in line without having to scroll over. But I will put this display end here now, and I'll take it away from here. Okay, we'll still leave this not line commented out for the moment, and we'll go out and test this really quickly. Okay, if I go to screen 1, and I say 3, and I'm going to type in ACME1000. And you can see it popped in the full address. We're ready to now type in a date, which we could type in with date, and we could give it a type, etc., etc. Let's type in something else now. I'm going to clear these fields. Let's type in another. Let's press delete to cancel out of this record. I'm now going to go add a new record. Add a record again, and this time I'm going to just type in ACME by itself. Let's see what that matches. I hit enter. We get a big error. Everything's all broken because I didn't plan for getting an error. I told FilePro in this lookup, right here I said, don't do anything about an error, -N. Don't worry, I'll handle the errors. Okay, do nothing. And then I commented out what I was going to do. Let's type in what I was going to do now. I'm going to uncomment this, I'm going to uncomment this, and I'm going to go to a browse lookup. And it's easier for me to show you the first browse lookup on the next screen. So I'll do that, on the next lesson. So we'll handle browse lookups on the next lesson.